Good morning. Let's see. Just want to maybe brighten this up a little bit. That's not doing anything. That's you. Alright, that should be okay. Alright. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. What to draw today? I'll go with that. There we go. All the way over. Get that over. And let's see, let's back that out a little bit. It's feeling a little slow this Friday AM, right? So keeping with the box theme, I guess. It's still too dark up there. I changed this. Maybe that would be better. It's also just like temperature is all kind of crazy too. Good morning, everybody popping in. There's the hand and the wrist is kind of like right about there. And the elbow goes up. The arm goes there. Good morning. That lines up there and there. And that should go over to here. Bon dia. Buenos dias, or however it goes. I don't know. This is weird. I went over to, let's see, this fixes it. So I looked up the Flaming Lips, because, it's a good band, right? On YouTube Music. And they've got all their songs, but they're not organized into albums. Like, the albums are listed, but the page itself doesn't have them. Oh, there they are now. Guess I just had to reload. Let's try this one. I don't think I've heard this one. It was weird. I went to their page and yeah, Bon dia, I think that's Italian, right? Head goes over here at this angle. In Catalan too, Catalonia. Forget what's the name of that kind of weird language that's in Spain? It's like in the mountains. It's weird because it doesn't appear to be related to any other European languages. I forget its name. It's like a mountain culture. Euskera. I don't think that's how we say it in English, though. There's a different name, I think. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there's a different name. I just don't remember what it is right now. At least when you say it in English. It's like Lithuanian has 5 dialects. Most people speak I call High Lithuanian, or like I think of it as like Highland Lithuanian, and but there's a region kind of in the northwest near the border of Latvia where they speak. In English, we call it Samogoshan, but in Lithuanian, it's Žemaitiškai. So it's the area is called Žemaitija, and it's like this weird blend where like regular Lithuanians like don't really understand what they say either. It's a very particular dialect. I think the structure is all there for the regular Lithuanian, but I'm trying to remember what the name of that. I guess I could look it up, but yeah, that's one thing. One of the things I had a class full of students. And I was just pointing out that at least in English, we say the names of countries differently than they call themselves. Like Germany, for example, right? The Germans don't call it Germany; it's Deutschland. And I had a student be like, "Well, isn't that silly of us to not call Finland, Swami or Suomi or however they say it properly?" And I'm like, I guess, but every language does that. They don't necessarily call countries by their names, the proper names that they call themselves. like if we were to translate Lithuania directly into English, it would be something like Rainland. That's just where the name of my stuff comes from. Because it's we think of it as being like stone in English because it says lith, right? Like lithograph. But really, it's Lietuva, which is Lietus is rain. Or the Lithuanians, they call Germany Vokietija, which is like the hilllands, the hill, the land of hills or mountain lands. Russians call Germans mutes, Niemcy. So it's pretty like, nothing unique to anybody. Chinese uses an alliteration for America, Meiguak, which kind of means like beautiful land, but it kind of sounds like America, so I guess they thought it was a nicer way of saying it than some other way they could probably say it. I'm sure Spain has a bunch of their own versions of things that they call things that are not quite accurate. But I just thought it was funny, like they thought it was some kind of negative aspect of American culture that we demand that countries be called certain things by us. When really it's mostly just an accident of culture. I guess I should center this more and I can zoom in now that I know where it's going to be, right? But I think it was feeding into the culture of being offended at the time. Was why they wanted to demonstrate their own kind of goodness when it comes to it. I think that head still needs to move over some. It's funny, one of the things of advice that I give when drawing the figure is to kind of save the head for last. So to kind of get its general position and then leave it alone, especially when you're doing life drawing. Because, especially when you're drawing from the live model, that is, who's might be moving around. Yeah, the Gulf of America, that's really funny. I don't think anyone's going to care about it, but I guess it sounds funny, I saw some other memes of it where people were calling it the Gulf of Buc-ee's. And Buc-ee's is a kind of like it's like a gas station in America. It has like I think it's like a beaver for its symbol, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, Buccee, Buc-ee's with an S on the end, of course. But someone just doing that as a meme. Just trying to stick with the straight line effect still today. We're constructing the figure. Got ourselves an angry ginger here. So, yeah. Alright, let's see. That can connect down there. Tricep there. Deltoid there. Hey, there's a professor on campus who's doing a class on Fridays, and I need to check in with him because it's a long pose figure drawing class, and it's on Fridays all day. He does like multi-day poses, so I need to see what's going on with that to maybe step back into that. I did some of that last year. I think it starts around like 9:30 in the morning, something like that. It's a good kind of winter activity. Oh yeah, they can get a little wiggly up there, huh? That's why it's important to know like your structure and your proportions. And a lot of times it's a way you also need to know how to kind of guide a model back into position. So like for example, if you've got, if it's being lit by something, one of the things you can do is actually mark. I like to mark the shadows on the floor around the model. So not just the model, like where the feet are or the hands are touching something, but where the shadows are, and that kind of helps put them back in their position. There's also a trick you can do with getting them to put their head back in the right spot, which usually helps getting the rest of them in the right spot too. So one of the tricks I like doing when I'm drawing is triangulation. So finding the angle, say, between the elbow and the wrist, and then using that angle to find a third spot. So they're going from here to here, and then going from here to here, and seeing where this crosses that, and then the same angle over here, and where they intersect is where that's at. And you can, he didn't have any. Yeah, it helps to have marks, right, for the models. Get some tape up there and mark it off on the floor. But one thing you can do with the model, though, is you can tell them to, whenever they're relaxed into their spot, have them close one of their eyes, and then look with their open eye at the tip of their nose, and see what the tip of their nose is touching in front of them. Like it could be the foot of an easel, or a corner of the floor, or somebody's bag. Hopefully the bag doesn't move. But just see what that actually touches with their nose. And you can try this yourself. So if you close one eye and then see what your nose is touching visually in front of you. And then do the same thing with the other eye. So close the eye you've been looking with, and then look with, see what the nose is touching. And you can put your head in the exact same spot every single time, because you just line those two things up. And so if wherever you're standing from, you have to put your head back in that right same spot every time. It's really it's a super easy trick. Yeah, sometimes poses are awkward too. So I usually let the models pick a pose, just because usually they're going to pick something that's more comfortable. I'll just tell them something like, seated, a little bit of a twist, and at an angle or something like that, and facing a different direction. But the eye nose trick is a very simple thing. But yeah, the eye trick always works. Like, it's a really good one to use. A lot of people don't. I learned that from one of my mentors. Jeff Hine. I don't know where he got it from. Probably from one of his teachers, I guess. Yeah, that definitely happened. I once was. I remember this was when I was kind of early in my teaching years, a long time ago. But we were drawing this model, and I was just drawing along with the students. Kind of lost track of time, and kind of noticed the model was getting really wiggly, and she was like moving her stomach up and down really uncomfortably and things like that. I was like, "You okay?" And she's like, "It's been a really long time." And I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to set the clock." But I was just like, you can tell me if it's been too long, Sometimes I forget. I was just having a good time drawing, It's my job to pay attention, but it's okay to speak up, if you've got some discomfort. She really she told me that I was a very bad person for doing that to her, and I'm like, just having a good time drawing. I don't know. Welcome to the arts. You're not always paying attention. Good morning, Dr. Professor Thornock. Oh yeah? I've had models fall asleep, laying down, take a nap while we're drawing, which is fine. Just kind of keep drawing after they're asleep. Hmm. Yeah, that's pretty common. It's actually hard to stay awake. I when I taught a portrait class a long time ago, um, I had to arrange for our models at the school I was at. So I had to find them, contact them, bring them in. Most schools do that for you, but this one they didn't. I don't know why, but not sure if they've changed that since then. But um, sometimes they don't show up, right? So I was contacting people off of Craigslist and things like that to come in. Model Mayhem, so another kind of classic one. But sometimes they wouldn't show up. They just random people, right? So I would model for the portrait class. If that happens, I would get up there and pose for them. Sometimes have a student do it too, but mostly just me. But I couldn't stay awake. Kept nodding off while I was up there. Just kept going, falling asleep, and which isn't great for a portrait class because you need the person to kind of keep their head in one spot, and so I kept falling asleep. Um, yeah, I mean they get used to it. A lot of models that I've had, they really like it. It's like a way of participating in the arts without being an artist. Um, it's like a way of supporting something that they don't really do, but want to be part of. A lot of times, they'll have headphones in and things like that too to listen to something. Um, so that sometimes keeps their interest where they're because they're doing something to help the arts. They like that aspect of it. They get excited to see what the students are doing.